For a long time, I was what I'd call a lazy, silent Christian. I'll be honest, I let society beat me back. I definitely wasn't the best Christian, but we all live through God's grace. Working in tech, I learned quickly that mentioning my faith or conservative values meant being ostracized, maybe losing opportunities, definitely being laughed at behind closed doors. But I'm tired of it. Watching Charlie Kirk stand for his beliefs until the very end and seeing how his widow stood strong in the aftermath, it's given me my voice again. And while I know this will be a bumpy road, I'm going to falter many times. I think it's time someone gave voice to many conservatives and Christians in the tech world who need a place where they won't be looked down on or laughed at for their beliefs and values. This is faith, freedom, and tech. I'm Scott Houghton, and this is our beginning. Welcome to the first episode of Faith, Freedom, and Tech. I'm Scott Houghton, DevSecOps engineer, cloud architect, Navy veteran, and honestly, a very flawed Christian who's been quiet for way too long. Before we go any further, I need to be completely honest with you. This isn't going to be your typical Christian podcast. I'm not a pastor. I'm not a theologian. I'm barely what most people would call a good Christian. Let me tell you who I really am. For years, I struggled with my own issues with the churches that I grew up around. I saw hypocrisy that made me angry. I saw people preaching one thing on Sunday and living completely differently Monday through Saturday. And you know what? That disillusionment became my excuse to walk away. For a long time, I didn't go to church. Sure, I still prayed when things got bad. I still had a conversation with the Lord. I still believe it's my personal connection. I was still reading the Bible, maybe once every few months when I felt guilty, a situation hit me hard enough, but I wasn't living it. Wasn't even trying to live it. Through my own fears and people pleasing, I became someone I didn't want to be. I became the very hypocrite I criticized. The irony isn't lost on me. I walked away from the church because of hypocrites, only to become one myself. And here's the thing, I'm not what most people think of when they think of a good Christian. I drink too much beer. I swear like the sailor I am. And yes, you're going to fucking hear some call of language on this podcast because that's who I am. Suck it up. I've hit more people in my life than I've turned the other cheek to. Military school, the Navy, growing up the way I did, violence, often my first answer, not my last resort. But I'm trying to be a better man, and only God can judge me. A lot of things happened in my personal life over the last few years. Some good, some bad. Some I'm ready to talk about, some I'm not. But these experiences started reigniting something in me. That flame, that flame I had when I was young. I remember being that kid at the church camps my grandfather sent me to. I remember volunteering at church before I became disillusioned. I remember what it felt like to actually believe in something bigger than myself, to be a part of something that mattered. And I realized that by walking away, by staying silent, by hiding my faith and my values. I hadn't escaped hypocrisy. I had become its embodiment. I was living a double life. Professional Scott, who never mentioned God, never pushed back on things I knew were wrong, never stood up for what I believed in. And private Scott, who still prayed, still believed, knew right from wrong, but was too scared to say it out loud. The death of Charlie Kirk. Watching someone literally work themselves to their dying breath for their beliefs, it shook me. Here's someone who never backed down, never stayed quiet, never compromised. And here I was, healthy and alive, hiding behind my keyboard like many of us do, too afraid to even put a cross in my social media bio. So here I am, a flawed, struggling, imperfect Christian man who's tired of hiding, tired of worrying about not getting contracts, tired of being afraid to offend people. I'll say it plainly. Being a conservative or a Christian in tech isn't cool. It's not accepted. It's not celebrated. If you don't use the right pronouns, if you don't fit their agenda, if you dare to say you believe in God or traditional values, you are laughed at. You might even be fired. I've seen it happen. And I'm risking a career I've built since I was 11 years old, since I first taught myself to program at 11, since I allegedly hacked my school's computer system at 12, since I opened my own small business consulting firm at 13, thanks to a lot of great people, got my Novell certs, my Microsoft certs at 14, my CompTIA certs at 16. I'm risking a lifetime of work. 20 plus years building a reputation, building a career, building a life in tech. Why? Because this is the turning point. Now is the time to shine brighter and light the path for all of those who have been silent for far too long. This podcast isn't about me being some perfect example of Christianity. It's not about having all the answers. It's about being real. It's about saying, hey, I'm a mess too, but I'm trying. It's about creating a space where you can be excellent at technology and believe in God, even if you're struggling with that belief. It's about building a community where you don't have to pretend to be someone you're not just to keep your job. It's about technical excellence without compromising your values, whatever those values are. Some episodes, we're going to deep dive into DevSecOps and cloud architecture and AI. Other episodes, we're going to talk about faith in the workplace. Sometimes we'll discuss conservative perspectives on tech policy. And sometimes I'm just going to share my struggles and failures because maybe, just maybe, they'll help someone else. Let's be clear about something. This isn't just a faith podcast. I'm a technologist first. I've been doing this since before some of you were born. I've built systems for startups and enterprises. I've secured infrastructures for companies you use every day. I've architected cloud solutions that handle millions of requests. I'm here to share real technical knowledge, how to build DevSecOps pipelines, how to implement zero trust architectures, how to leverage AI without losing your soul, to build scalable systems that actually work. But I'm also going to talk about the ethics of what we build, the responsibility we have as technologists, the impact our code has on society, and yes, how faith can inform those decisions, or how the lack of faith in our industry is leading us down a dangerous path. This podcast is for several groups of people. First, it's for the silent Christians in tech, the ones who hide their faith because they're afraid of being blacklisted. You're not alone. There are more of us than you think. Second, it's for the conservatives in tech who are tired of being told their views aren't welcome, who are tired of diversity and inclusion, meaning everything except ideological diversity. Third, it's for anyone in tech who feels like they can't be their authentic selves at work, who have put on a mask every morning just to fit in. And fourth, it's for people like me, flawed, struggling, imperfect people who are trying to figure out how to live with integrity in an industry that often demands we compromise. This isn't about converting anyone. It's not about preaching. It's about creating a space where we can be honest about who we are and what we believe, while still being excellent at what we do. I'm going to stumble. I'm going to say the wrong things. I'm probably, well, most definitely going to offend some people, both Christians who think I'm not Christian enough, and progressives who think I'm too Christian. I'm going to share my failures alongside my successes. I'm going to admit when I don't know something. I'm going to be learning and growing right alongside you. But I promise you this, I'll be real. I'll be honest. I'll share actual technical knowledge that'll make you better at your job. And I'll create a space where you can be yourself without fear. We'll have episodes on technical topics, deep, valuable content. We'll have episodes on navigating faith in the workplace. We'll have episodes about conservative values in tech. And we'll build a community of people who can support each other above all else. So here's my challenge to you. If you're a conservative in tech who's been hiding, it's time to stop. You don't have to shout it from the rooftops, but stop being ashamed of it. If you're a conservative who's been afraid to speak up, find your voice. Start small, but start. If you're someone who's been struggling with faith, like I have, that's okay. This journey isn't about being perfect. It's about being honest. And if you're just a technologist who wants to learn and grow, hey, you're welcome here too. You don't have to share my beliefs to learn from my experience. This industry needs diverse voices. I'll say that again. This industry needs diverse voices. It needs people who think differently. It needs people who question the status quo. And yes, it needs people of faith who can bring a different perspective to the problems we're trying to solve. I know that starting this podcast might cost me. Contracts might dry up, doors might close. Some people who respected my technical skills and abilities might write me off now that they know what I actually believe. But I'm tired of winning the game by their rules while losing myself in the process. I'm tired of being successful but empty. I'm tired of being respected professionally while being dishonest about who I am personally. It's time to build something better. Technology that honors God, or at least doesn't dishonor him. Systems that can serve people instead of exploiting them. Communities that welcome diversity of thought, not just the appearance of diversity. I don't have all the answers. I am not the perfect spokesperson for Christianity or conservatism in tech. I'm just a guy who's been in the trenches for 20 years, who's made a lot of mistakes, who's trying to be better, and who's tired of hiding it. But maybe, just maybe, that's exactly what we need. Not another perfect person or somebody who at least claims to be telling us how to live, but someone in the struggle with us, figuring it out as we go. This is episode 1. We're just getting started. The road ahead is going to be bumpy. I am going to make mistakes, a lot of them. But I'd rather fail standing for something than succeed standing for nothing. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking this risk with me. And thank you for being part of something that I believe can shift the culture in tech. One honest conversation at a time. Faith, Freedom, and Tech releases every Tuesday. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Share this with someone who needs to hear they're not alone. Whether they're struggling with faith, hiding their values, or just trying to figure out how to be authentic in an industry that often demands conformity. Next week, we're diving into DevSecOps and discipline, how the principles that secure our systems can secure our souls. Yeah, it's going to be technical and spiritual. That's what we do here. Until then, keep building, keep believing, and keep pushing forward, even when you fail, even when you doubt, even when you want to give up. This is Scott Houghton reminding you that you are not alone in this journey. Now, let's go build something that matters.